A mute 1.6-meter tall female humanoid with her eye sockets both covered with skin. The one-eyed girl, codename SCP-5303, could be the last thing you'll ever see. Greetings, my like-minded friends. My name is Detective Nicolette, and today I'll be taking a close look into the subject case of SCP-5303. So, join me as I uncover the mysteries within this strange entity. Although SCP-5303 doesn't have any eye of her own, she is, however, capable of seeing by hijacking or taking control of the sense of sight from any nearby individuals, allowing it to see from the perspective of the victim. And the containment protocols for test subject SCP-5303 involves keeping the subject in a standard humanoid containment chamber big enough for test subject SCP-5303 to roam around, and a D-Class personnel that is linked to SCP-5303's sense of sight will remain in the chamber with the subject in order for SCP-5303 to be able to see its surroundings. However, this D-Class personnel must not interact with SCP-5303 in any other way besides his intended role. You will not believe the lengths my informant within the Foundation had to go through in order to give me all those valuable pieces of information, but still, this information alone won't be enough for me to decipher what case subject SCP-5303 really is and why the Foundation wants it. So, I made another phone call to my informant requesting for more information on the one-eyed girl, and with her persuasive skills, she managed to get the doc file of everything the SCP Foundation knows about the case subject, SCP-5303. With the document in hand, I can confirm that subjects whose eyes under the effects of SCP-5303 lose sight of their surroundings, but they begin to perceive white light instead. Also, subjects under her control will somehow perceive the mind and thoughts of SCP-5303 while in this state. However, majority of the perceived thoughts are somewhat intelligent and incohesive, so these thoughts are actually of no real value. But from the comprehensible thoughts, I could see that the case subject, SCP-5303, shows signs of prominent feelings of romantic loneliness. In other words, she's in need of someone to love her. Although I can't say if she's genuinely in need of someone to love, or if the love she means is to kill and eat her victims. But from the thoughts she plants in her victims' heads, I can say that it might be genuine. I'll explain more on that later. Anyways, upon further inspection of the document, I found that personnel around SCP-5303 were known to often report that they were experiencing a sensation, a scopaesthesia 1. I can't confirm if this claim was true though, because they are currently under investigation. So, how did the SCP Foundation find out about sub-SCP-5303? Well, the first case was reported on February 2nd, 2020, after a regular hunter reported seeing a strange female figure in Utah Forest Grove, and this female humanoid had no eyes or eye sockets. This piece of information alone was enough for the SCP Foundation to send out agents to secure the area and ensure that every single place within the perimeter is observed and captured by cameras in order to investigate or confirm the credibility of those reports. And it so happens that 20:04 p.m. that very same day, a local college student by the name of Carl Nagisi managed to break through the setup parameters and enter the surveillance area. Luckily enough for the SCP Foundation, he was within the sight of the camera and the following events were then recorded. The first scene shows Nagisi sitting on a tree branch for about 2 minutes, looking a bit nervous. And not so long after SCP-5303 emerges from a nearby hole between a couple of tree roots, and behind her is a large quantity of smoke. And apparently Nagisi looked like he was expecting her saying the words, "You are here." He stands up, and the test subject SCP-5303 makes her way over to Nagisi and stops right in front of him. Nagisi continues saying, "Finally, now, okay, I know it's been long. I know I've missed you. "You've missed me too?" clearly implying that this wasn't the first time he had seen case subject SCP-5303. But the feeling didn't seem mutual because all the subject did was remain still. Nagise further went on after a brief chuckle, saying, "You've always not been much of a talker. Wait, shoot. I wrote a poem. I spent a bit on it. It's not too good, but it's about you. I wrote it about you." He then searches through his entire backpack, looking rather paranoid in a panicked mode, before dumping the contents of his backpack on the ground. But at this very moment, the Foundation agents found out about the event and immediately went out to the location. The second scene shows Nagise confirming that he left the poem in his room, and as he wanted to run back to get it, he suddenly stopped and looked back at case subject SCP-5303, saying the word "really," as if implying that she had told him something that made him to stop. Now Nagise stumbles back towards SCP-5303, ignoring his surroundings and tripping over a tree branch in the process, but manages to regain his footing. And while he did that, he found himself standing right in front of SCP-5303. Looking surprised, Nagise starts the words, I may need to see for this." Pauses for a while before saying, "Well, if you insist." And not long after, Nagise tries to bring his lips closer to that of case subject SCP-5303, and the action seemed to have reacted in the same kind of way with the subject because 28 pairs of disembodied eyes immediately appeared in the air around Nagise, all staring at him. These eyes, however, were also making some occasional glances at SCP-5303, but their main focus was on Nagise. With a smirk on her face, SCP-5303 moves away from Nagise, who disappears immediately, leaving nothing but his eyes behind. They dart quickly in all directions, staring at both the other eyes and SCP-5303. Not long after, Foundation agents reach the location, immediately intoxicating SCP-5303 with their tranquilizer guns, and after the creature collapses, all 28 eyes begin to demanifest, one pair at a time, including Nagise's eyes, after a brief stare at the agents, followed by a slight quivering before it eventually demanifested. This log shows quite a lot about case subject SCP-5303's behavior and how she gets her victims. And my theory on the one-eyed girl is that she was once a beautiful lady who wanted to see the entire world, but probably ended up breaking a young man's heart. And in turn, she was cursed to forever maintain a blind, hideous face who only sees what others see. And for breaking his heart, she will no longer be able to fall in love with any other man. And if she does, the man will end up becoming just another memory for her to live with, which could explain why her thoughts are full of sadness. Well, it's either that or she's just a girl with no eyes that steals other people's eyes, but that seems unlikely, considering her reaction when Nagise tried to kiss her. Although further investigation of where SCP-5303 came from have all shown nothing interesting so far. But I can confirm that case subject SCP-5303 was placed in a Site-24 containment system, and she has stayed there passively ever since. Nagise's disappearance, however, was dismissed and covered up by the Foundation by making the public believe that it was just an ordinary missing persons case. After an eventual investigation of Nagise's college dorm room, the Foundation found a small journal on his desk, with the last page having some notes, of which they believe was intended to be directly describing SCP-5303, and this is what was written on the notes. And so ends the SCP Foundation's log on case subject SCP-5303. So what is my take on the test subject? Her victims do seem to communicate with her through telepathy, which was shown by Nagise while he was with her in the forest. Although I can't dismiss the fact that it could have been a hallucination and Nagise was just imagining what he was hearing. Another thing I noticed about subject SCP-5303 is that she didn't want Nagise to kiss her. I mean, for someone who allegedly needs love, wouldn't she be more than willing to kiss Nagise back? This could confirm my early suspicions suggesting the one-eyed girl needs love, but was too scared to love back so that the man won't die. Saying it in that manner would imply that this creature has feelings, and Nagise also had genuine feelings for the creature, and he wasn't under her control in any way. But based on the number of eyes I saw on that log, I'll just have to go under the assumption that the case subject SCP-5303 is an eye thief in search of the perfect eye to regain her sight. Not very poetic, but it does answer a lot of questions, although I still have a couple more, but I'll leave that to you, my friends, to answer. So tell me what you think about this subject in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to follow on my journey to uncovering every secret the SCP Foundation has hidden from us. But for now, I'll have to get back to work before I draw any suspicion to myself. Have a good day, my friends.